My name is Beta Rock, and together we can change the world. I mean, how many should I say it? Low sometimes and high sometimes, or how, what do we do with the things that I say? Listening here to a text I get, it's just how can you take somebody and hold them? Say like, you understand this? No one. Who else do you know? Who else says this? No one. I might be small, but my words are mighty, okay? And I'm serial. Do you like South Park? Every word. And together we latched onto that at the Sunday school time an hour ago. Together we can change the world. We don't have to do it like we're doing it. Let's let's make our own paths. Yesterday I was talking to a friend about William Penn and America, and I mean he could date his things back to William Penn. I mean, not that old, but as we were imagining things, not that long ago, okay? 250 years, fine, it's long. I'm not saying, this kind of thing, but it's not that long in the fun terrain that they had then, like to come into Pennsylvania and it's wooded. We can't even move about because we're just in a forest. I mean, at some point, that's the way that it was and that spirit of adventure. I think it's what Trump thinks about. To make America great again. Somewhere here, there's that adventure, okay? The adventure. We are so not adventurous in our language of today, right? Fearful. Dude, we gotta flip this game. Life is a game. Okay? Have fun. It's gonna end. It's a mist. Okay? Get your life set with Jesus. And now you got a platform where you're good. Okay? I took care of the single most important decision that you're ever going to make. Are you going to give your whole self to God? That's my answer. Read what's grace for you. I read it and I thought, well, this is good. I could probably say it better, but for now, it had good enough elements to describe lordship salvation. Wait, you mean I got to know this to go to heaven? Right. Nobody's there yet that I'm relating with, okay? But it doesn't mean I'm not wholly right. John MacArthur's article talks about it. Grace for you, MacArthur, lordship salvation. You'll stumble into the article. Not stumble, you'll find it. That's the beauty of Google. If you don't, you can email me, beta@betarock.com, 717-660-6754. Message me on Facebook. That's it. The adventure. Fun. A friend of mine, not really, he's on my list. I have a list. Excel friends. 62, I think I'm up to. Getting a little worried about how big I can do a good job in this process with. He's on that. We are divided. I'm requiring intimacy. This is a male. Language, snow. I was talking about snow. Intimacy does things to how I feel, the connotation and things. I'm not going to talk and do normal guy things. No, I'm going to wait. He invited, and I said this a couple weeks ago. And he has a place in his heart for it. I know he does, because he said, okay. And then I did a little talking, kind of like my near homeless neighbor. When you're ready, I'll be ready. But I'm not going to play around in your stinky pig pen, okay? Got to be clear. If I play in your stinky pig pen, we're just going to stay there. We need to come over here to the promised land. It's better. The grapes are better. Everything is better. Okay. Over here in your land, you get, like my one friend was saying, every once in a while we get a good peach. Dude, over here we get good peaches all the time. I've been here. I don't want to go back here. And if I go back here, then I'm accommodating. The righteousness sits over here. Trust in things. Trust. Okay. Learning, conversation, intimacy, the dynamics, they're here. That's what I care about. That's my passion. Lordship salvation sits at the bottom of it. Matthew 7, 24 and 25. Hebrews 10, 26 to 31. Me and Jesus, can lure you with a carrot or smack you with a stick. And I say that in fun and an element of reality. I have some type of role. I'm preaching. I'm talking to you. But it's God who draws. John 6:44. I know it. We're going to talk about some of that here. Can Satan read our minds or know our thoughts? No. Okay. No. Okay, we're done. Would I do that? Are we having enough fun to go a little more? But there's more to it to fully engage in some things, okay? I like the idea of a mixing bowl of thoughts, and I do this, and I really like this, So if I just say no, okay, well, that was a big nugget that I put in there. No, he can't. Okay, well, then that's clinking around with anything else you're thinking about. Well, then let's fill that up with some more things that kind of enhance it, add flavor. Like, have you ever had a good soup? Where, wait a second, there was some kind of something in there, and if I move my tongue like this, I kind of tasted that thing that, ooh, that was good. How did you do that? What was that? I barely ever get that kind of treatment these days, and that's fine. I don't, sides tracking, but does God want that for us? The side taste? Yeah, the 8 dimensions of wellness talk to this. Be perfect. I don't get it, and that's where the conviction to me and anybody, look, God wants us to be perfect, not because he wants us to have a hard life. When I sit down to do my push-ups in the morning, I think about these kind of things, and didn't do them today, and will probably when we're done here. I got another chat. I got to see this, life and its various complications. So there's a working, but the result in all this, I believe into this holiness, and it's good. I want you to be able to taste it on the side. That's a 10 over there. Like, wow. So not to be settled, like my spirit was kind of going, like, oh, I don't need that. Careful here. Be perfect to the point of a Hebrews 10, 26 to 31 sin, that if you don't do it, you're going to hell kind of thinking, reality, the language, okay? Why not? And all the things it might think. Are we mixing things up now? This is on the holy side. How about the unholy? Knowing our enemy. Can Satan read our minds or know our thoughts? Do you follow what I say? How many? I don't know. I preach as though, Charles Stanley did say this, and coming out of my mouth, no matter who you're talking to, preach as though, 2 things here. Preach as though you're speaking to 10,000. All right, I speak as though I'm preaching to 32 million. Kind of. Think about that. I'm good. It's one thought of what I do. Another thing is he said you need to start with a small place. Okay, how did that thought go? Whatever, that's part of this. In other words, don't actually aim idle-like into the 32 million. Do it small. So both parts have a place. However, not the best thought. I've ever thought. But it has a place. Not for now. I'm reading straight out of GodQuestions.org. I read it. See where this goes. First, it is important for us to remember that Satan is not omnipresent. He cannot be in more than one place at a time. Okay, so John MacArthur, that's what, do you follow me? And I said, listen to John MacArthur's thing on Satan, Vintage, 1975. It's the best teaching I've ever heard on Satan. I haven't heard very many. There's not a whole lot in the Bible about the things that he was talking about, I would say. I mean, I need to do a little more thought here. Heaven, even angels. There's just not overflowing passages with these things, spirits. But he mentioned this. John MacArthur did. He said he's fast. He was kind of saying but he's fast. And then there's so he listen to it. He does a good job. But it's something to know, because if we get this kind of messed up, then we could not have it all straight. Satan is a pissant compared to God. He's not omnipresent, another way to say it. He cannot be in more than one place at a time. So MacArthur was honoring that reality. But he's fast. Okay, how fast we don't know. But then he said that the Bible talks about there being fast angels, and he didn't have a quote for that. So I'm just telling you what he said. And then he made a joke, something about there's some sluggish, and the people laughed how he said it. Only God is everywhere, and only God knows everything, while Satan must rely on his army of demons to do his bidding. And again, I said this yesterday, but I'll say again, I think people give too much credibility to Satan as an excuse to limp around in sin. Like, well, that devil, he's just a toughie. No, the clear reality is he's a piece of shit. Lesser, nothing compared to God. Don't use that as a crutch to enable your sin. I can't beat him. Well, yes, you can. We'll go on. Can Satan and his demons read our minds? So I already said this. No. 1 Kings 8:39 says that God alone knows every heart. So we're going to pause here and read these a bit. 1 Kings 8:39. Then hear in heaven your dwelling place. Here, listen. Then hear in heaven with your ears your dwelling place, and forgive and act and render to each whose heart you know, according to all his ways. For you only know the hearts of all the children of mankind. Only you, for you, only you know the hearts of all the children of mankind. All right. Their summary of that, the GotQuestions.org people, is 1 Kings 8:39 says that God alone knows every human heart. There is no one else who has that ability. God knows what we will say before we say it. So now they're given a new thought, while the thought is still formulating. Okay, so this is all, because these people are definitely Calvinists, the GotQuestion.org, but they're also right. Okay, it's not a choice. If you're Arminian, you're going to hell. I mean, oh God, I mean. Even Psalm 139:4, even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. So when Piper and I are talking about that God doesn't know that we're doing this, oh yeah, he does. Okay, free will and free. No, he knew that. Okay. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. Fine, that's what it says. Sola scriptura or not. Jesus, being God incarnate, exhibited the divine qualities of knowing men's thoughts. He knew what was in each person. John 2:25. And then the verse. And needed no one to bear witness about man, for he himself knew what was in man. That's the verse. And there's two more. CF. What does CF mean? CF, again, if I was Pastor Johnny, people would answer that. Matthew 9:4. But Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, why do you think evil in your hearts? Okay, so he knew their thoughts. John 6, 64. But there are some of you who do not believe, for Jesus knew from the beginning those were who did not believe, and who it was who would betray him. All right, so he knew from the beginning. He knows. That's God, not Satan. So when we start to think that they're evil forces, which is effed up to begin with, but then that happens in world cultism because we like to sin, then we can start to think, well, Satan. Then we start attributing incorrect things to Satan. He can't. Okay. You can defeat sin, a slave to righteousness, blameless life. Don't listen to your bastard pastor, okay? Unless he's preaching the truth, which most likely he's not. The Bible does teach us that Satan is powerful, all right? Likely he was the highest of all the fallen angels, and he was persuasive enough to convince 1/3 of the angels to join him in his rebellion. John MacArthur talks about this. Listen to his. He does it better. Even after Satan's fall, not even, except it's long. This takes 10 minutes. That one takes an hour, but that's why you download it on your phone and run and do other things, mill around the house, and you can just listen to it 7, 8 times. That's what I do. It works. Even after Satan's fall, not even Michael the archangel dared to confront him without the Lord's help. Okay, so let's look at that passage. Jude 1:9. But when the archangel Michael, contending with the devil, was disputing about the body of Moses, he did not presume to pronounce a blasphemous judgment, but said, "The Lord rebuke you." Okay. I see. Satan is the ruler of the kingdom of the air, the spirit who is now at work in those who are disobedient. Then the verse, in which you once walked, following the course. See, this is why it's so just, boy. I mean, I'm not an expert in Jude, but for them to make that statement based on that verse, we have to talk. Oh, even this is what the good gotquestions.org people said. Even after Satan's fall, not even the Mike Angel, the archangel, dared to confront him without the Lord's help. That passage does not say that. I mean, they're adding things here that don't seem right. And you know I like GodQuestions.org. It's the best available thing that I point you to it. Man, this is why, again, I'm America's pastor. I can say these things. We have to be careful. I'm not saying that I don't know. I don't know. That's it. I don't know. Satan is the ruler of the kingdom of the air, spirit who is now at work in those who are disobedient. Ephesians 2:2. And the verse. I did this again, but I want to get my mind back around this. In which you once walked, following the course of this world, following the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience. The spirit, prince of the power of the air. Prince of the power. Okay, prince of the power. He's the ruler of the kingdom of the air. Okay. However, Satan's power has its limits, and reading our minds seems to be beyond his ability. It would take omniscience for Satan and his demons to read our minds, which they do not have. God is the only one who knows our thoughts. And that's a link, which we'll probably go to. What do we got? 19 minutes. Surely they have learned a few things about us over the years. Even the ability to know our thoughts, even without the ability to know our thoughts, they can make a well-educated guess as to what we are thinking and then attempt to use that to their advantage. Okay? They can observe and draw conclusions. That is why we are commanded to submit yourselves then to God, James 4:7, before we are told to resist the devil. So 2 other kind of interesting side-related somewhat verses. Fine. God is the only one that can know our thoughts. Let's see about this. Only God can know our thoughts. And I'm scanning quickly to see what we might see. And maybe we'll just be done. Maybe we'll just be done there. mean, some level, the answer is no. Deciding not to sin, Hebrews 10:26-31. You can do it. To knowingly sin, and at that point, once it's aware, to realize the magnitude of what's now happening. When you have identified something that you should not do, don't keep on doing it. Hebrews 10:26-31. That's base here. We do base in the sense of eternity. I mean, what can be more important than this? So this isn't something to excuse away by grace, what most bullshit churches thrive in. No, we got a passage here, Hebrews 10:26-31, that says, let's look at it. That's basically the main thing, again, to draw from what and there's lots of things, I guess, for the mixing bowl. But the primary thing is kind of in my heart is just to say, don't give that devil credit for places that your will can control. Okay, don't do it. And this is important. Hell and heaven hang in the balance. And when you own that, then it helps to kind of understand, right? Satan's nothing here. I got this. I can live a life without knowingly sinning continually. You can do it. Not that long. If we deliberately keep on sinning after we receive the knowledge of the truth, no sacrifice for sins is left. Oh, but look, your theology's wrong. No sacrifice for sins is left. Verse 26, and there's more, but only a fearful expectation of judgment and of raging fire that will consume the enemies of God. Push the brake in a 46, you're going 46 and a 45. It's just this plainly simple. Anyone who rejected the law of Moses died without mercy, died without mercy. This loving God that world cultism preaches. Died without mercy. In the New Testament. I mean, how much more severely do you think someone deserves to be punished who has trampled the Son of God underfoot? Trampled it. Your idea that you can get away with this, you're trampling God, the Son of God underfoot, who has treated as an unholy thing the blood of the covenant that sanctified them, and who has insulted the Spirit of grace. Is God gracious? Right, but when you go start intentionally violating, I mean, look, it just doesn't apply. This is so deeply hurtful to me and upsetting, because as much as I want to preach it out to you, I just don't believe. I mean, the people that I personally, the Hebrews, or no, the 2 Corinthians 2:25, God may perhaps change their hearts. I want to change their hearts because I get something in return. That's unfortunately just not the way it is. I do have the hope in that a God may perhaps. That's it. Okay. And if my sins have created problems, I'm okay with that. I mean, we're getting to this place. That's why I think this world cultism thrives. You got to believe this kind of bullshit based on almost biblical truth. God's gracious, God's loving. Oh, yeah, but he's also, going to give you the raging fire that will consume the enemies of God. And I'll say again, just breathing into this. You can breathe back, okay? You can talk back. The idea, I'll say it again. You got to have an opinion here. God is wrath and God is love. There's aspects here, paradox. But we got to pick a side. Is God serial here? He's really going to send me that's where it sits in my thinking. Can I get away with it? No. Okay. So at the end of the day, I personally articulate this and to say that I'm 51% wrath. And if push comes to shove and the vote finally matters, wrath wins and your ass is going to hell. By knowingly and continually choosing to sin. A 46 and a 45. Okay. Is my finger straight? Okay. A 46 and a 45 will send you to hell. Push the brake. And I don't even like, when I think about things later, like, do I just harp on this or do I talk about the lovelies that come? I mean, the Davids that get slayed like earlier here. I don't know. I want to say, well, let's see, but that's not it. We don't. What was it? What was the? Let me find it. That prompts me to think. This was it. They said it. They said it. This is a hymn. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. Though none go with me, I still will follow. Though none go with me, still I will follow. Though none go with me, still I will follow. Though none, I mean, do you have the heart? It doesn't matter what the evidence is. Let's finish this out. Acts, Romans versus Hebrews again. Hebrews, here we go. For we know him who it is said, his mind to avenge, I will repay. And again, the Lord will judge his people. It is a dreadful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. I would say that it's, I don't know, amazing. The mental relief. It's one lady that I messaged earlier today. I was watching The Last Samurai, and Tom Cruise's character in there, Nathan Algren. He says he learned from when he was with the samurai, his first, what was the word? Undisturbed sleep, something like this. Peaceful sleep. I have that every day. And life, for 20 years, where to really maintain sin required some kind of convoluted, all this stuff, it just got spun around into this horribleness. I'm done. Though none go with me, still I will follow. I don't care what you think. I care what this book says. I've learned, okay, to trust it. And then with that base, with Matthew 7:24, when I say, are you ready to make a decision to full surrender, to lordship? That's the key. Not about learning some new doctrine that can accentuate your bullshit life, okay? Your sandy land has all sorts of props and maneuvers to keep it. Does it? Are you there? Do you do Matthew 18 and confront people in sin? That's the biggie, okay? Leaving your mommy and your daddy. The biggies, your stuff. Are you ready to get rid of, sell everything and give to the poor and follow Jesus? Look, it's not Beta Rock's call. It's God's call, and I'm bitching to you about it. I'm a testimony to the fact that I'm going to, though none go with me, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to stick my finger in the electric socket again, no matter what. Then, to get to the point of this message, although that is the point, all that is where it really sits, then these things just become little things, little flowers on an otherwise vibrant tree planted by the God's water. It's one little aspect here. Satan doesn't know your thoughts. Right, okay, well, that helps us cement all this other stuff. Okay, oh, that all lines up, right, because it's from the John 15 vine. God and his righteousness, ways to live, and all this, drawing strength from him, capital H, him. care about you. I would like to get to know you. God, help me to say it right. Help the listeners to receive it right. Open our eyes to the sin that's present and clean it up. Help us, God. In Jesus' name.